I hope you kept yourself accountable. Within the last week, I hope you kept yourself accountable. That's the only way that you're going to succeed. It's by doing the work. If you don't apply what you're learning, you're not going to learn. Knowledge acquisition is one thing, and knowledge application is another. And these two things alone, they won't get you anywhere. But together, you'll get the results that you want. But it will take time. It will take time. For some of you, it might take a bit longer than others. And that's okay. Because at the end of the day, as long as you're consistent and you just keep chipping away at it, you will get the results that you want. Whatever you might be trying to improve your emotional intelligence for or not. And if you clicked onto this video without watching last week's video, what I plan to do is give you guys emotional intelligence videos and give you guys tips that I used to help me improve my emotional intelligence from pretty much zero. In hindsight, I probably wasn't as bad as I perceived myself to have been. And in saying that, I still wasn't at a level that I was comfortable with. And now I'm much closer to that and maintaining that level than I was 6-8 months ago. So the video last week was about self-awareness, just at random times during the day. If you might be doing something, just stopping and either thinking or saying to yourself, I feel happy. I feel tired. I feel frustrated. It doesn't matter what you said, but it's getting that, what's the word? It's just identifying what you are feeling and addressing it. Becoming self-aware. So that was the first step. Now, if you haven't watched that video, I'll link it in the description down below and I'll refer you to that video first, because the idea of these videos is that I'm going to give you one tip each week, and all I want you to do is to practice that one tip every single week so that you can focus on that thing and that thing only. Now, yes, I know I am sort of making you guys wait, and it's all part of the process, because if you don't practice this one skill, one step at a time, you won't get to where you want to go. What I have noticed with myself is that even if it's a really good video that I've just watched and they've listed 5 different things that they tell you to do, and they list the order that they want you to do them, I always find myself trying to implement all 5 at the same time. It's just not going to work. Not at all. And that's why I'm going to give you one tip and explain that tip each and every week until you guys get better. And then as I keep learning things, I'll keep uploading and posting videos that I think you guys will benefit from. Because at the end of the day, all I want to do is just share my wisdom to all of you. So today's video is building on the one from last week, and it's about journaling. The idea of journaling for me is that it just builds on that self-awareness. By journaling my thoughts, and it's that self-reflection process that really helps me improve my emotional intelligence in ways that I didn't think was possible. I was able to, or I am able to, I should say, I can reflect, and I'm able to, well, not only remember the interactions that I had better, and I can look for ways to improve. So for example, I'm going to the shops, and if for that day I've decided to try to work on my kindness. So let's just say I'm at the petrol station, I've just filled up my car with some petrol, I'm waiting in line, and I see someone behind me and they look to be like they're in a rush, right? Sometimes I might stand there and just pretend to ignore it. And then there might be other times where I'll let them go in front of me because I might not be in a rush, and I can visibly see that they're in a rush, that they need to go. Yet sometimes I decide to ignore it, even when I feel guilty afterwards for not doing it. Now, this is a very extreme example. I'm not saying you guys have to do that either, but it could be as simple as holding the door out for someone and just reflecting on that, or just reflecting on any interactions that you have throughout the day. Doesn't matter what they are, who they're with. Could even be with your dog. Doesn't matter. Just developing that self-awareness and the self-reflection is a key part of emotional intelligence. And by putting pen to paper, getting what's up here onto here, is a very key part of improving your emotional intelligence. The best thing about this is that the more you do it, the more you get your thoughts out of here onto paper, the less you need to rely on this in the future. Now, this is 3, 4, 5 years down the track. It could even be quicker for some people. I'm not at that stage yet, and I know it's coming, but it's not here now. And in saying that, I should mention another very important point, and that is, in the initial stages, you are going to feel like journaling is not only something that you don't want to do, it's a drag, and you're not going to be very good at it at all. I wasn't. And I made sure that regardless of how I felt, I still journaled. Even if I was lazy and I didn't want to, or even if I didn't have time to, I'd still make sure I'd put the date at the top, and I would write at least one word. Because for me, whenever I have a habit of doing something, I've created a habit, whether this is good or bad. Once I stop, I tend to not pick it up again. And I've identified that with myself and created something that works for me, which allows me to keep doing what I'm doing. So I've identified that if I do something and then I stop, it is hard for me to pick it up again. However, if I don't really do it, but still mentally, it's almost like the placebo effect. I am tricking myself into still journaling, even if I write the date and one word, and that is it. At the end of the day, you just got to find what works for you. That's what works for me, journaling before I go to bed. Every night works for me. I know some people who like to journal in the morning. I know others, and like myself, I don't like to journal in the morning because it's just, my brain's still waking up. I like to think and get my thoughts onto paper before I go to sleep, which allows me to sleep better. And it's another form of winding down. So to wrap things up, today's video is very important, not only because it builds on that self-reflection and self-awareness from last week. It's important because it highlights the importance of that self-reflection and self-awareness and getting your thoughts out of your mind onto paper. And by doing this consistently over a long period of time, that is exactly how you will improve not only your self-awareness and that self-reflection, but also your emotional intelligence. So for the next week, your homework for today is to not only get a journal and get a pen, but to consistently at the same time, if possible, if it's not, just whenever you are free during the day, journal. Reflect on some situations that you've encountered, or reflect on how you're feeling. Build on that self-awareness that you built from last week. And take this momentum through with you until the video comes out next week, and then you can just keep building on that knowledge. Step by step, slowly improving your emotional intelligence, just like I did. So that's it for today's video. I look forward to hearing your journey with not only improving your emotional intelligence, but journaling. And as always, change starts with you.